Obviously you're very high on all these draft boards. How are you kind of balancing, I guess, having that hype with also focusing on what you need to do for this season? So
yeah, obviously with all the hype comes with a lot of expectations, but to be honest, no one has higher expectations for the season than myself. So with me, it's all about just staying consistent, not being complacent at all, just making sure I get better day by day, you know, getting 1% better every day, and just eventually, if I do all those, I think everything will take place.
What was that process like? Coming back, you know, your coach mentioned your GPA. I know what supply chain writer to a degree. What was that, you know, the process like of determining what's going to go, given the prospects last year, the team coming back? You know, did the NIL help you maybe able to make the decision a year later, or what went into that process?
Yeah, I mean, with the process of coming back, it just came down to the fact that, you know, over these last 3 years, it's been such a great time here at Penn State. You know, Coach Franklin and the staff have been great to my family and myself. So just having another opportunity to come back to suit up with all my brothers one more time, combine that with the fact that, you know, I had the opportunity to graduate early, so it made those two choices made everything a lot easier. Yeah, I mean, I would say last year, like I had a high expectations for myself, but the pressure did come with that, and you know, it would affect me mentally. Just, you know, a lot of self-doubt would creep in. But this off season, I've done a lot of work just with myself mentally. You know, just realizing like where I'm at and how far I've came from when I was at Penn State. So, you know, going into the season, even though I have high expectations, you know, I don't really feel any pressure. Just like, you know, just talking to myself, just like, again, just like realizing how my whole process came to be. I mean, you know, coming into Penn State, I spent my first 2 years not playing, first year on the developmental squad, second year just being a backup. And, you know, I truly think that not only have I put in the work, but, you know, the entire coaching staff and all of my teammates all, you know, put in the work into me to, you know, elevate my game to another level. So, you know, just remembering that, you know, remembering where I came from and that, you know, I put in the work to be in this position definitely helps a lot, you know, help eliminate that self-doubt.
Well, you're going into your 4th year, but you're still only 20. Did you start school early, or how did that kind of work?
Yeah, I started school early. I think I just skipped preschool, really. I think, I mean, not anything crazy. I just didn't go to preschool, and just from there.
But what in terms of your development, you're clearly, you know, somebody who is projected very high in the NFL draft. At what point did your age no longer be a factor competing with other kids, I guess, what I'm getting?
Probably, I mean, when I got to high school, really, I mean, you know, all my life, like with like travel basketball, like when I was younger, I always played like my same age group and whatnot. And I mean, I guess generally it was the same thing with high school. You know, the age difference isn't really that much of a deal. But you know, when I got to college, that was like the biggest. That was like the biggest difference. You know, as a freshman, as a 16-year-old freshman, going against, you know, like Odafe Owe and Shaka Tony, you know, like fully like 20, 21-year-old, like fully grown guys. Like that's when I was like, okay, like this is a lot different. But you know, after that, after a year of doing that, you know, you get used to it, you know, and to a certain point, I mean, age isn't really a factor anymore. I mean, we're all generally the same size, all the same weight. You know, at that point, it just comes down to technique.
I was going to ask, how much did that make you better? As difficult as that was your freshman year, going up against those guys day in and day out?
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult. I mean, I was going to war with those guys like all the time, but at the same time, like we were both getting each other better. And you know, there have been many times when, like after a practice, you know, I'll be down on myself, even though, you know, Shaka and Odafe were both great pass rushers. You know, they'd come up to me, just encourage me, just like thank me for like the work I was doing with them. You know, they were like encouraging me, telling me that they were still getting better, like off of the work I was giving them. So, you know, that definitely played a huge role because, you know, again, those guys, great players, great pass rushers. So I definitely think that helped me a lot.